Our next guest may or may not be buying the New York Jets. That's the rumor going on. But before he does that, he is the Grand Marshal for Old Newsboys tomorrow. Founder and CEO of the William K. Bush Brewing Company. Billy Bush, welcome back, Big 550 KTRS.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Any movement on that Jets purchase?
You know, I don't know whatever happened to that. We had all that rest. Seemed like we were going to get them, and it just kind of fell through the cracks.
I missed a phone call. I left, the cell phone dropped on Highway 40 and no longer. All right. Old Newsboys days, they tapped you and said, what, we need your help this year?
They sure did. Yeah, they tapped me back in 2015 when our great friend and Hall of Famer Lou Brock had a hospital stay.
Right.
He was the chairman of Old Newsboys then. And since he couldn't make it that year, they asked me to be honorary chairman. And so I had to fill in those big shoes,
right,
and fill in for him. And I took it very seriously. And the next year, I must have done pretty good because then they asked me to be the chairman for the next 2 years.
All right. So you had to fill in for Lou Brock, and now you're filling in for yourself.
That's correct.
So to speak. All right. Explain to people what is they hear it, they see you guys out on the streets. What is Old Newsboys?
You bet. Well, Old Newsboys, for 60 years it's been around now. And every Thursday, the Thursday before Thanksgiving, thousands of people hit the street corners, volunteers from Old Newsboys, and they sell newspapers. The newspapers are written by high school students and teachers around St. Louis. The high school students basically go to children's charities throughout St. Louis and interview these charities, and that's how they draw their content for the articles in the newspaper.
Right.
And so what we're doing is we're raising money for thousands of kids in need throughout St. Louis that might not have school supplies, medicine, food, clothing, even Christmas presents. We raise it. It's 100% nonprofit. Everything that we make goes to these children charities. We give to over 200 children charities throughout the greater part of St. Louis. And all these people get together as one big team for this great cause.
Right.
And Thursday, tomorrow morning, we'll be out on the street again from 6 to 9 selling newspapers.
60 years this has been going?
That's correct.
It's got to be if only someplace in St. Louis can still be selling newspapers all these years later, right? I mean, this is a St. Louis tradition.
It's such a great St. Louis tradition. As a matter of fact, my dad, Gussie Bush, was the chairman of Old Newsboys back in 1967, so exactly 50 years ago. So I'm carrying on his tradition. He loved getting up in the morning early. He'd get up at 5 or 4 o'clock in the morning on that Thursday morning and get out there, even as an old man, in his 70s and 80s. He'd get out there in the cold with his buddies and hit the streets and sell newspapers, but he loved it. He was always excited about it because he knew it brought the community together, and he loved St. Louis.
Right.
He loved the community, and he wanted to help the kids, our kids here in St. Louis.
Is it all throughout St. Louis where you'll see people standing?
All throughout St. Louis, the metro area of St.
Right.
Louis. Yes.
Everyone has their own favorite corner. Where are you going to be tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow morning, I'm mostly going to be at Brentwood in Maryland.
Okay.
That corner, yes.
Brentwood in Maryland. And it's as simple as you see people, look for the people who are out and about with the stacks of newspapers.
Yes.
Donate $1, $2, $10, $20 and pick up a newspaper, right?
Exactly. And you'll notice the people out selling newspapers by their green aprons they'll be wearing.
Right.
And yeah, so whatever you can give, the more generous you can be, the better. Our goal is to raise $650,000, but we really need to raise more than that to help with the need of these children.
Yeah. Your father, Gussie Bush, they say was one of a kind.
He was definitely a great St. Louis person. He loved St. Louis. He was a great people person. He knew that St. Louis backed him and his cause, of course, with selling Budweiser for the years he did. And he gave St. Louis his all. And, I think we need more people like that this day and age in St. Louis.
Whitey Herzog said he would never coach again because there would never be another owner like Gussie Bush.
Well, he and Whitey got along so well, and he let Whitey handle the Cardinals because he knew Whitey could do a great job. And so he gave Whitey the reins and said, Whitey, get me a winner here.
Right.
And, of course, in the 80s, Whitey did bring 3 pennant winners and a World Series winner to St. Louis.
Yeah, interesting. I would love to have had a chat and raised a glass with him once in a while. That would have been a fun
Well, that's the other thing. They all like to drink beer together, too. No matter what time of day it was. Whitey'd come over early in the morning and they'd
Have a morning beer.
have a morning beer.
Well,
5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Nothing wrong with that. How's Craftig going?
You know, it's going very well. It's selling well. People, come up to me day in and day out, and they say how much they love the beer, how great it tastes, and it's now their go-to beer. So
Right.
I'm hearing more and more of that. So I couldn't be happier to see how sales are going. We do brew a very fine beer, high-quality beer with a great taste.
Right.
And to keep that tradition going in the Bush family couldn't make me happier.
Yeah, and this is not a microbrew. This is you want to grow this to a national brand. That's been the goal from day one.
That is the goal. I could have come out with more of a craft beer, but Craftig is not a craft beer. It's in the premium lager, American premium lager category. So we're competing with the other premium lagers out there, and it's much more drinkable than craft beer for the most part. Not
Right.
that craft beer is anything wrong with craft beer, but Craftig has more flavor than our competition in our category. So it kind of hits a sweet spot. It's kind of in the middle of a craft beer and a
Right.
premium lager.
Yeah, but I mean, you also, you're doing it the hard way, right? I mean, it would have been easier for you to create a little craft beer, have a nice little hobby on the side, but you decided to go all in.
Yeah, there's nothing easy about the beer industry these days. There's so much competition out there. The price wars are crazy. So to make money and to do well, you really have to have a great product. You have to have great marketing. You have to have great people working for you and working the business for sales.
The Craftig is the green bottle, and the Craftig Light is the gold bottle.
Is it silver and gold now?
Silver
Yeah,
and gold.
Actually the white and gold
Okay.
is a Craftig Light, and the Craftig Lager is it has the green on it still, but it's more light in color now.
All right. And
Yeah,
the other last time you were on the show, you said that Grant's Farm was staying in the family. You want to break any more breaking news anywhere on any?
Yeah,
of your
it should be
fronts?
closing December 15th. It is going to be staying in the family, so I'm really, really happy about that because that's what our dad Gussie wanted it
Right.
to do, is to stay in the family if at all possible. So there are Bush family members that are going to be purchasing Grant's Farm, and we should close on it December 15th.
And then on that Jets front, still no word on the Jets front.
Yeah, still haven't heard much about that.
All right.
He is really pushing you on
Where the
this,
heck did that
Billy.
come from?
I don't know. We got to call.
Oh,
We
my
got to call
goodness.
somewhere and said, "Hey, have you heard Billy Bush is buying the Jets?" And as a Jets fan, I said, "No, but I would love it. It'd be the greatest thing in the world."
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something. Yeah. Well, the crafted green would go very nice with the green of the Jets.
It
So
sure would.
It sure would.
It'd be great.
All right, Old Newsboys tomorrow. We just need to know what. Look for a corner, find a corner, and give. Right.
Yeah, look for a corner and give. Look for those people out there with the green aprons and give generously. It's all going to go to a great cause for kids in need here in St. Louis.
Billy Bush, founder and CEO of the William K. Bush Brewing Company. Find Craftig, and if you go to your local watering hole and it is not there, ask for it by name. Right.
That's the best way to support us. Exactly. If it's not there, ask for it, and hopefully that owner or that manager of that account will start bringing it in.
There you go. Billy Bush, you're always welcome here. Thanks for coming.